we need to work in unity together just to make sure that this country is moving forward and all our yearnings will always come true. We have three sides when we talks about the country. We talks about underdeveloping country, we have developing country, and we have the developed country. But in the case of Nigeria, we still fall under developing country. But the questions that comes to every one of us: are we still developing in Nigeria? Are we underdeveloped, or are we developed country? Well, just let me welcome you on the show once again. My name is Moses Okunlola. On the show today, we'll be talking, going straight to what is really happening in Nigeria today, and that is the final verdict, the final judgment of the presidential tribunal that is holding presently in Abuja. We've joined them since morning, and we've been, at least for those of you that you've been following us on this show, you've been seeing it one after the other. But we quickly want to give us a brief on how this journey started, where we are presently, and when the time comes, I'll bring in my guest also. You're welcome. My name is Moses Okunlola. Welcome back, still on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. You will recall with me that the Chief Judge of the Federation, the former Chief Judge of the Federation, Justice Al-IyamoyeTv, last year, November 22, swear in 307 justices to handle the 2023 general election petition, while another 39 were also added in May, making 346 judges that will be sitting and be looking on the affairs and tribunals of 2023 general election. Their job is to deliver judgment before September 16. We have 5 judges that are deciding Tinubu Latiku's Obi's fate at the tribunal presently. We have Justice Aruna Samani, who happens to be the chairman. We also have Justice Stephen Adam. We have Justice Monsuriat Bolaji Yusuf. We have Justice Moses Ugo. We have Justice Adam Mohammed. We also have San Chris Uche, who is leading the legal team of the presidential team of PDP, Tiku Abubakar. While another son, Waliola Onepekun, also serves as the legal team of, as the lead of the legal team of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We also have we have even the new Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, as the legal team, leading the legal team of the APC. We have Liva Uzo Uku, who is also the head of the legal team for the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and presently in court, waiting for the final judgment. You recall that the process has started some times ago, but today Nigerians are optimistic. Nigerians are ready. Nigerians are I don't want to say that we are expecting the final verdict that will come from this tribunal. Maybe President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will still retain the post as the president of the Republic of Nigeria, or will be having another person on board. 5 political parties lodged petitions against the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have the PDP, the People's Democratic Party. We have the Labour Party. We have the Action People's Party, APP. We have the Allied People's Movement, APM. We have the Action Alliance, yes, AA. But after some hearing sections in May, the APP and the AA, they withdrew their case. They withdrew their petition against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But there are some other issues of contention that are in the court of law. Firstly, we have the academic and qualifications of the president. We also have the alleged indictment of presidents in the US. We also have alleged dual citizen of our president. These are the cases in view in front of the court of law. Also, we have the petition also claims that President Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima are not eligible to contest in the presidential pool due to the double nomination of Shettima. You recall, Shettima also obtained the form for House of Senate. Likewise, he was being appointed as the vice president of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Also, the petition also claims that Tinubu failed to secure 25% of votes cast in the FCT. From Peter Obi, we have that the petitioner asserted that the election was being marred by rigging and manipulation, and INEC violated its own regulation when it announced the result at the time where some results are not being uploaded on their portal. Yes, it's not been transmitted electronically as they required for the Electoral Act also. The tribunal should also cancel the election and compel INEC to conduct a fresh presidential election, which Tinubu, Shettima and APC would not participate in. Also, we have the tribunal should also declare that Tinubu was not duly elected by majority of the lawful vote cast during the election. Also, the tribunal should order INEC to retrieve the certificate of return issued to Tinubu and issue a fresh election. After the fresh election, a new fresh certificate of return should be given to him. Talking about Peter Obi. Also, the petition from the PDP is as well similar to the one of the Labour Party, saying that the 2/3 of all the states in the federation of the FCT is part of the points coming from the PDP. Also, Tinubu was at the time of election not qualified to contest the said election according to article. However, article urged the court to conduct a new election, to conduct a rerun election between him and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. All these are in front of the judges to see and to examine what will be the final result, what will be the final judgment that will be coming out today, as all Nigerians are eager to hear the final ruling. In the house today with me, I have a comrade. He's a politician. He understands politics very well as a political analyst. I have comrade Sunday Adiegbe. You're welcome on the show today.
Thank you very much, viewers and distinguished personalities all over the country. I say good afternoon to you all.
Yeah, sir. Let's just go straight to the point. Nigerians are eager, are patiently waiting for the judgment today. But with the different petitions filed against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, one will pick them one after the other. The first one, talking about the double nomination of Kashim Shettima. Do you really see that as a point?
Well, thank you very much, the moderator. It is a point and it is not a point. What do I mean by that?
Okay.
You see, one thing all of us need to understand is that, for example, before you can say you are educated, you have to pass through primary, from there secondary, then to tertiary institutions. Ab initio, let us look at the Electoral Act. That is fundamental and the basis of how we can conduct and elect our leaders. Those are the things. If you see some areas, you see, the point that baffles me most in nations constitution is that they create too much lacuna. So you will find it difficult to have a way to hide. Before you know it, somewhere you see a lacuna somewhere hidden. They just bring out, then they will defeat your argument. What do you mean by not qualification and disqualification? By the time you listen to the Lord Justice Samani, you see what was he was trying to explain or enumerate the qualification to contest. One, you must be a Nigerian by birth. The highest qualification the constitution requires of you is secondary education or its equivalent. The secondary education or its equivalent.
Is that not even too low?
You can see. Now, this similar thing happened during the era of President Muhammadu Buhari. In fact, what we read in the paper that there was no single document to trace his qualification. And he had his way. Simply, the part that B knows how to maneuver their ways. That is why I will put it. Because it will take two to tango. By the time, okay, this is qualification. So that is secondary education or its equivalence. Fine. Maybe in those days, if you don't make school start, you have S75. Behold, if you have S75, perhaps they may allow you to run as president of Nigeria. Because what do they mean by its equivalence? It may up to and it may. Secondary, you see, let's be very categorical. Secondary education or
First degree.
first degree. Let's be specific. Secondary education or diploma or HND or first degree. No, you need to be specific. But the constitution has created lacuna. So the idea of Chicago this, Chicago that, constitution doesn't recognize all these.
But let's talk about the double nomination of Shettima.
Double nomination of Shettima. If we read the judgment very well, that the judges rely on the provisions of the Electoral Act, saying that it is not third party business. It is not third party business. And what do you mean? When something affects millions of Nigerians, it's not third party business. Whose business will it be? It should be the business of the party itself. And the house that against itself, can it hold? No. And you want the party to oppose to against it. Is it possible? If you want to be, the other time I said that our leader, we should be very sincere and straightforward in Nigeria. We are not being straightforward. What do you mean by what is the provision of sorry? What is the provision in the Electoral Act? Electoral Act is very clear. It is very clear about all those things. But it depends on the interpretation. By the time you fall back into interpreting those acts and laws, you find yourself dumbfounded. Because by the time you begin to read and read my rule, by the time you come to the other end, you will see that given gradually by yourself, you are defeating your point. Because if you have a very smart and leading counsel, they will capitalize on your explanations. They will capitalize on, okay, what is the provision of the Constitution? And is Electoral Act supersede Constitution? Electoral Act does not supersede Constitution.
Maybe I should like me draw it back with the issue between Ahmed Lawan, the former Senate president,
Yes.
getting the form for Senate alongside for president. That is from APC.
Yes.
Then it generated a lot of controversy there because immediately he wasn't picked during the presidential primary. You need to swap back to the senatorial ticket, which created a lot of issues then. Are you not seeing as a problem in this country? Why will you obtain two forms on the same platform but different posts? Should it be allowed?
It shouldn't be allowed. And it is not you and I that can say it should not be allowed. They will not. They will not use it. They knew quite well that it isn't. So it's not supposed to be so. Now, in the Electoral Act, if you obtain a form for a particular post, you go ahead with it. You can see the issue of former Senate President Mela and the incumbent Akpabio.
Yes. They both have the issue.
The two of them obtained Senate tickets.
Likewise,
and equally
as well as
obtain presidential. You can see at that point it is the responsibility of the INEC to have disqualified them. Then who is supposed to have raised the point? It is the party member.
and all those issues were being raised, but at the later end.
No, they were not raised at the appropriate time. That's the problem. You see,
It was being raised at the later end that they've decided who will be the flag bearer of APC.
Can you see that the flag bearer of APC, I mean vice presidency of APC, the situation in this one is very funny. For the first time in my life, I'm hearing placeholdership. Honestly speaking, placeholdership. They place the junior brother of Katsina State Governor to fill that gap and place him on place there. Then immediately, because they were not searching for who actually they want to use, they now see that they want to balance the political zone of their about according to them. Then by the time that particular they now discover who can be. Of course, the president, the vice president has already obtained senatorial ticket. Then he has to audibly rush and resign from that part. Meanwhile, as at the time he was resigning, particularly Shetima of this world, as at the time he was resigning, primary of senatorial has already been conducted before he was picked. This is not the first time. We have seen the governors, the people that emerge as governor of a state, and by the time they do their primary and they want to see, they will ask the governor, and it happened to Atiku when he was to become the vice president to Chief Obasanjo. He has already won governorship ticket for Adamawa. Though Electoral Act then gave room then.
Okay. It wasn't amended.
No, it has not been amended. But as it has been amended, then another lacuna was created. What is lacuna? It can only be challenged by an insider, not third party. Then what else again?
There's another problem.
That's another problem. Why should that provision be there?
Oh, should we be saying all this problem we're facing now, all the petitions that are coming on the table of the tribunal, INEC have a lot. INEC caused a lot to be part of these issues. Why we analyze them one after the other? Before the even before the primary, I think immediately after the primary, we expect all political parties to submit the names of their candidates. Which name do they submit? So why is it that even as at the time, some political parties have finished their own primary before some other even start? So definitely, have we not seen INEC as an issue here? Now let's lightly put that one aside. Let's talk about.
Don't go far.
Okay.
Don't go far. Let me throw light to that one. You can see only the primary exercise. APC was pushing INEC to the wall so that they started extending. They started extending the deadlines. They were forced to extend the deadlines because they were ruling party. Other parties have concluded. It means only APC. And you know they were the government in power. The INEC was their instrument. If it were another political party, it will not have its way. That is part of the lacunas I mentioned earlier, then it is the responsibility of our senates and reps to go back to this electoral act. If they really want to make us as a happy nation, they should tidy up these provisions. They should not keep us in suspense, because this suspense made the petitioners to fail when they get to court. And if you are to obey law A and law B has already weakened the position of, then what are you going to do? And you can't create a law of your own.
Well, I thank you very much. We have a lot of points there to check. There is another point that comes from the Labour Party, that the INEC promised that all the results will be transmitted electronically and immediately will be uploaded immediately for everybody to see. But as at the time they were collecting the results, some results are yet to be uploaded. It's part of the point being raised by Peter Obi. What do you say to that?
Thank you very much. I said those laws, those provisions have created too much lacunas. As at the time of counting the results, even the INEC chairman was even saying it with courage, that he is not compelled. He is not compelled. He was making promise all over the world. Yes, is the provision of the Electoral Act compelled him. That is why they were unable to pin him down. He's not compelled. That until when all the results are uploaded, then until that is, you know Melaya argued for it.
Yes.
He argued for it.
He said what you promised us is that everything will be uploaded and we are going to see it online.
There are two things we are talking about. Promise of INEC chairman and the position of Electoral Act. If Electoral Act has mandated him,
the Electoral Act doesn't mandate him.
No, that is the end of the show.
His own promise was that everything will be uploaded. Then INEC needs to be checked.
He may have that good intention, but
the provision of the act doesn't.
His principles, he must dance to the music of his principles. His own promise might be different from the mindset of the principles. You made the promise, he is not made himself to be there. His principal appointed him to be there. He has to dance to the music of his principal. Who asked for his own promise? Who have his own opinion? They will just tell him, restrict yourself to the provision of the law before you. You were not asked, you are not appointed to come and tell us or to create another law for us. You restrict yourself to the provisions before you. That's what they will tell you.
I think the issue of the provision of law, the Electoral Act, I think as a country we still need to revisit some of our decisions, especially some people do say that our constitution is overdue, that we just need to amend our constitution. Let's just put it one after the other. Yes, there is another thing being raised, that the petition also claims that Tinubu failed to secure 25% of the vote cast in FCT.
Thank you very much. He failed to secure 25% of FCT.
Yes.
You see, I want you to mark my words. Lacuna. In the constitution, even if you don't secure 25% in 2/3 of the states and you secure the highest vote, they may declare you winner.
I think that is what happened in this case.
They might declare you winner. You can see that the issue of conjunctive of and was explained, but one legal practitioner says that we are not in the classroom. Yes, because if you get to the court, another thing is for you to be academic, and another thing is to restrict yourself to the rule of law. That is why you see them mentioning the petition is being academic than the real. Can you see? That is just the problem Now they talk about amendment in the constitution. They have started amending the constitution right from the period of Chief Obasanjo. They started amending it, and that is why I frown at those people that are saying that we are using military law since 1999. How many days does it take them to prepare and draft the constitution? Does it take them years? When they set up that
so you're also in support that our constitution needs to be reviewed.
It has been reviewed from time to time.
But as at now, do we still need?
We need to mention. The only thing we need to do is that we need to point out those provisions that is creating problem. The provisions that are creating confusion for us has to be.
Are we saying this line is that 25% of votes should come from FCT? Are you saying it should be removed?
I'm not saying it should be removed, but it looks somehow ambiguous. Okay, it doesn't make 25%. You see,
but across other states, it has the number.
It has the number. That is why I said that the lacuna created by the law. We need to pick one instead of giving them rooms. If you want to do, if they didn't meet up, you want to do the result, let's go straight to that one. Instead of wasting time, wasting our time, continue to keep us in suspense.
Because I even checking it that I've been over 346 George, just to see it on petitions. I was like, wow. I will spend a lot on that. But let's quickly don't go towards that side. Yes, there is another petition that was being filed against the Labour Party. I think this is coming from the APC, that the Labour Party candidate is not qualified to contest, on the premise that checking the names of the members of the Labour Party, his name wasn't there. He defected from PDP to Labour Party. In less than 30 days, they declared him as the flag bearer, the presidential candidate of Labour Party. The APC are coming out, no, this is not done anywhere. Why will you? The person that just defect definitely is not a member.
Then what was the outcome? That petition was dismissed. That particular petition, APC 5, was dismissed on what ground? One, it was pre-election matter.
Doesn't have any ground.
It is not easy. That PEP has no judicial scope to address it. Pre-election matter at the lower court. Then if you get to that place, it is an internal, it is not the responsibility of the third party. I repeat myself. Even when you get there, if you challenge it at the lower court, on that provision that it is not the responsibility of the third party to intervene. It should be a member of that Labour Party that can challenge him and he can be disqualified. Not from any other political parties that will be according to the provisions of the electoral.
And this is the name that will be submitted to INEC as their candidate.
Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? INEC knew that, well, this man did it. Then you see, they have don't forget that they have their legal department. They have to restrict themselves to the provision of law. It is the responsibility of that party to challenge them. They can't raise it. They have no power to raise it unless there is a pronouncement from the court of law that the Obi is not qualified to be the candidate, presidential candidate of Labour Party. It is not you and I that were not a Labour Party member that can raise it, and they would dismiss it. Let it come from the blue. It will be dismissed. I talk about these ambiguous lacunas. In fact, they are only playing upon intelligence. I know, very, very short. You know, the other time I said that we're issue on ground. We are trying to adjust ourselves to balance it gradually. They fought in a very good place. You can't see this type of thing. In Britain today, they are not using Britain law. They are respecters of law. unwritten constitution, and they respect it.
Just let me ask this question at that point. Do you believe in rule of law in Nigeria, equity when it comes to rule of law? Do we really obey the rule of law in this country?
One, that question, may I ask, before I can believe, who is to adhere strictly to the rule of law? If it were you and I, they will deal with you holistically as it is being spelled out by that provisions. But being that the power that be, who are now violating the laws of the land, behold, can you see now? You can see the situation. You can see the situation.
They bend rules for some people.
It is you and I. The laws are made for commoners. It's not made for those people out there.
But they do say that court is the hope of the common man.
Yes, that is. Thank you. You have reminded me. This case, the PEP address is not final. They still have another opportunity. They cannot appeal. There's no more appeal. Court.
But they can go
to Supreme.
To the Supreme Court.
Then, and if you go to Supreme, you must watch. You must do your homework, because it's not all these things, all these points you are going to appeal against. No, you must have a cogent point.
Are you saying all the points of Labour Party and PDP, do you see them viable enough?
If they are viable and they are weak. You see, there is a difference between viability and weakness. We are addressing two issues. If the points are viable and they are weak, okay, for example, when they talk about falsification of age, falsification of the educational qualification, all these, the law says pre-election matter. It's not the responsibility of Presidential Election Petition Tribunal.
Viable but weak.
Viable but weak. So there are two different things we are weighing, that we are not being conscious of ourselves. Meanwhile, they cannot file it at that time because everybody was struggling within his own party. How will you be looking into somebody's candidacy, somebody's qualification, and this, and until after his own case must have been fashioned and it's okay with them before you can come back and say, okay, no, my challenger are this and that, this and that. That's just it. We are, you see, the only thing that can take us out of these lockdowns is for our law. And the point that agitates my mind is that look at the categories of members of Senate and reps that are going there saying that they are going to make laws. You need to query their intelligence, you need to query their acumen, you need to query whether they have
what it takes
to be a lawmaker.
But even let me ask this question: are you not seeing them being too much? We have about 460 votes. The vote house.
469.
469 the vote house.
No, what is too much?
109. Yes, I think the Senate is 109. The House of Representatives 360.
69.
So definitely we are having 469.
And what is your stress on that?
I didn't know too much.
Okay. Why did they drop the previous constitution we were using? They dropped it because it doesn't favor them. That one, you don't need to come and have an office in the chamber. Just attend to the plenary and go.
And go back home.
Then you take your allowance. They are not placed on salaries.
I think that is where the sitting allowance comes in.
Yes.
But I can't just imagine you collecting sitting allowance aside from your salary.
They are not collecting sitting allowance again, but they are drawing salaries.
I'm talking about their salaries. That what they do peaks out at the end of the month. Different allowances.
Why
different
would
allowances.
That is why they dropped that system and pick presidential system of government.
Don't you think it would be better for us as a country to drop one? Maybe we are going to drop House of Rep Then we stand with House of Senate. Then we equipped more. We're going, there will be provision for more participation rather than having 469. And we're saying there's no money in the country. A senator will be collecting an average of about 1.5 million.
1.5 million.
Basic salary. I'm talking about basic salary. Basic salary.
Yes.
Not to talk about different allowances every month. And we do complain there's no money in the country, there's no money in the country. And they are not ready to shift grant, even to slash their money is a problem.
Okay. Do you believe there's no money in this country?
There is money. Everybody, but according to our leaders, there's no money in this country. Yes, according to our leaders, there's no money. And we all see it with our eyes, inflation.
If there is no money, they were being owed 3 months' salary. You will see, by themselves they will change the system.
I've never seen that. Have we heard it before? That maybe the federal government is owing
Even the immediate past
administration.
Senators and reps members, they have computed their allowances and the severance allowances. If it has not been paid, it will be paid to them any moment from now. Including all 7 ministers and the former president, that is warrior of this world. He will soon be paid. He will soon be paid. Okay.
Soon be paid, or maybe he has been paid.
If he has not been paid,
He will soon be paid. If he has not been paid, he will soon be paid.
If he has not been paid, he will soon be paid. Have you ever heard that they owe President Goodluck Jonathan any money?
No.
Has he ever come out like that? No, the federal government owed me this and that.
And they don't used to owe worker, all the workers too. They don't used to owe them money. But talking about deduction, that is on another side.
No. You see, you have shifted ground. In some states, they owed workers their salaries, which is personal involvement.
I'm talking about federal staffs. I'm not talking about the states.
You don't separate them.
Let's just use government workers generally.
We are all living in this country and we are buying from the same market. Okay, you are in private sector. Whether if you get to Kuta now, they won't know whether you are a private sector or not.
Or you don't even have anything doing.
They don't want to know. Immediately you stand before any either tomato or pepper tellers, they won't say because you are unemployed or you are employed. They will tell you how much they want to sell their products. So that's why I say I don't appreciate people separating this. Even as a private worker, a public, that is government workers, I don't appreciate subjecting anybody into unnecessary hardship. It's not necessary and it's uncalled for. So the idea of this is if as a state worker you are being owed your salary or you are being owed your cooperative deduction or whatever deductions that some states are owing while some states are not owing, and while some states are owing salaries, which is not supposed to be so at all. So that is where we have weakened the law, and these people are there to amend this law to suit the citizens. Rather, you see what they do. They attend the plenary. You might see a senator who has never attended that plenary for one day, because they have a calendar. Before they go on, they say maybe they attend that plenary 1 or 2 times.
To go on research.
Apology. You'll be sending apology. And that is why you don't see them performing. You don't see their effort in those states they represent. And can you believe, at least I can have my memory is correct, former Senate president, that guy from Benue,
David Mark.
Until since 1999, until 2019, he was representing his.
For close to 20 years.
Is he the only person? Knowledgeable?
Even Ahmed Lawan,
he was re-elected.
He was re-elected for the, I think, 5th time.
For the 5th time.
For 4 years on the road.
Forget about that. That is
He has already used 16 years. He has started another one.
ideally the system they brought into this country. That is what they practice in America. John Kennedy, you cannot count the number of how many times he went to Senate. But they are not taking salary as he is representing the interest of his constituency very well. Since he is not, he is going there, he has not enriched himself on whatever
It
capacity.
doesn't stop his
It
work.
doesn't stop his work and doesn't stop going there representing their interest. Unlike abandon your job, abandon whatever you say you are doing, and you go to Senate.
Even
and
politics
to,
in Nigeria is a business.
it's a business, so and begin to
That
make
what
good money.
worth sitting down with. Well, you're still on to the Politicos and Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Very shortly, we're going to join our stations in Abuja just to connect with the ongoing presidential judgment that is going on in Abuja. But just to crown it all on the show today, what should be the expectations of Nigeria?
Concerning what?
The ongoing proceedings.
The expectation of my advice,
Your advice
they should take solace.
on anything that comes out.
Whatever comes out, they have to take it. Because there are two loopholes. And since that lacunas had been created, there's no way. You see, maybe because I study elements of law, that is why I'm saying that. I'm not really supporting those judges or those lawyers, but because I knew the content of that provisions. And that is why I say that, look, we just have to. I want to appeal to Nigerians. They should take his.
Thousands have been disappointed severally in the bid to see greener pasture abroad. To those quack in the traveling.
Think how we can saddle our senators, saddle our rep members, the responsibility of what they are supposed to be doing when they get to the house. Is supposed to concentrate on making laws that will be beneficiary to citizens. All these problems emanated from the provisions of laws so created by them. When they since 1999 they have been amending constitutions. At least I know that there are some occasions that Chief Obasanjo assented to certain provisions. The same thing Jonathan assented to some provisions. The two immediate past president. So they keep amending it. Why don't they sit down and amend it holistically? Okay, for example, before we go, why don't since all this while we have been clamoring for separation of powers, we have been clamoring for autonomy. Now you need to ask yourself. I need to ask myself, what is really making it difficult? Before you know, the governors will go and talk to the senators in the state, representatives in the state. Look, you may become the governor tomorrow. Don't go and shut yourself up. That is why, by the time they send it to the state, for each state, because the state must enjoy two-thirds of the states. Up to now, some states are yet to pass the bill, to pass the law, so that it can become act in the National Assembly. Judiciary is not independent. Then legislators is not independent. Then executive, they want to monopolize everybody. But if you keep doing that one, I don't know when we are coming out of when we are going to liberate ourselves. I'm yet to understand when we are really going to liberate. But by the time we charge our people to know what they are doing, you and I can generate the part of the constitution to be amended. You are free. You take it to the House of Assembly. Yes, as a legal.
I think during the time of I think we have confab in Nigeria about two, but during the time of President Goodluck Jonathan. But it's just quite unfortunate that all those reports, I don't just understand that all those reports are not being worked on.
That confab is not for constitutional amendment.
Yes, what I mean by confab is that
restructuring.
we structuring all the opinions, all the observations, all the reports. Let me just say the reports that comes out of the confab. Do we make use of it in Nigeria?
Immediately, President Buhari stepped into the bar. What does he say? I believe that is a provision of law that compelled him to
Works on it.
adhere strictly to it. He won't throw it into dustbin. I said that there are too much lacunas in our laws. They have personalized it. They didn't respect the institution. Immediately they turn the institution to their personal entity.
Well, it has been an interesting moment on the show today, but time is not on our side because we just need to join up in Abuja. The report just reaching us now, as you rightly said, they dismissed the petition against Peter Obi being a member of Labour Party or not. It has been dismissed, which I think is good enough. It's good enough. But you know, in politics, like the Yoruba will always say, "Ara ija, leyiwa." So at times when things comes this way, you just need to model up some things. Well, I thank you very much. Let me appreciate everyone that has joined us on the show today, and especially let me appreciate my guests for coming. Our comrade Sunday Emmanuel Adege. Thank you very much for coming, sir. I'm very sure next week we'll be on the show where we talk about some other things that are very, very important. Especially we need to look on local government autonomy, the effects we have on it, and how will it be of help to the masses, because we have issues with this palliative. I can recall the state saying that their own palliative will be taken to polling units, that it will be distributed at the polling units. Some people are saying community is the best, local government is the best. We're going to have much time next week to talk on some other interesting topics that on this show on Politicos. Thanks very much for joining us. As this is Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. My name still remains Moses Okunlola. Let's join up in Abuja for more updates.